Russell Dougherty, a 1941 graduate of Western, has distinguished himself in the military and is a prominent attorney in Washington. He retired from the Air Force in 1977 with 35 years commissioned service and has piloted most of the Air Force's operational aircraft from the B-17s of World War II to today's F-15 fighters. But maybe his greatest accomplishment, and one that he takes great pride in, is that by working his way through college, he did not place a hardship on his parents, and in fact, he was able to pay the total bill. We're very proud of General Russell Dougherty.
Receiving accolades and honors is nothing new for the former Commander-in-Chief of the United States Strategic Air Command. Whether the recognition is Man of the Year from the Los Angeles Philanthropic Society in 1976 or Outstanding Alumnus of Kentucky in 1987, General Russell E. Dougherty credits Western for playing a role in his success.
It was a great experience. I wish that I could even be more complete about it, but Western was an unusual campus. It was an unusual group of people.
The Glasgow native's experiences since graduating from Western in 1941 would rival just about any military professional's career. In addition to the Strategic Air Command, General Dougherty spent his military days serving in the Far East Command, the U.S. European Command, the Air Training Command, the Air Force Logistics Command, and as Director of the European and NATO region in the Office of the Secretary of Defense. And while the list of Dougherty's accomplishments is impressive, the retired Air Force commander is modest about tonight's distinguishment.
Choosing is pretty thin if they had to choose me, but I'm grateful I accept the honor, albeit not deserved. But if being a loyal alum of Western is a qualification, then I certainly have wanted to be that.
1992 Hall of Distinguished Alumni honoree, General Russell E. Dougherty.
President Meredith, I want to thank you, and I want to thank those people who made that agonizing decision as to who was going to be up here tonight. It's nice to be gone but not forgotten. So much nicer than being forgotten and not gone. I don't know how to take that introduction, but I want to relate a story to you. A few months ago, it was my privilege to introduce the Secretary of Defense to the Virginia Bar Association, assembled down in the Greenbrier. And Secretary Cheney got up afterwards and he said, "Russ, that was a good introduction," and I listened carefully. I listened to introductions, something I didn't always do. But he said, "You know, when I was campaigning in Wyoming for the single congressional seat they had in Wyoming, for the 6th time, running unopposed, I still went through this state and I still spoke to the constituents and I still elicited their vote. And here I was, the sole congressman serving in this single seat in Wyoming, and I went up to this old gentleman after I'd spoken and I said, "Sir, my name is Dick Cheney. I'm running for Congress and I want your vote." And Secretary Cheney said, this fellow said, "By God, Sonny, you're going to get it." He said, "That one we got up there now ain't worth a damn." So I'm glad that as you looked around, you know, you found one here that was worth a damn. And let me have this honor. I share it with so many people. I've lost my program. Here it is. With so many people that I know and honor, that I feel humble indeed to be here. Dan, you said that your grandfather was a legend. Dan Cherry is a legend in the Air Force. You all should know. If you don't, he is undoubtedly the Air Force's greatest fighter pilot. Distinction that they share quite readily with each other, but Dan really was, and proved it time and time again. Dr. Cherry opened this school in 1906, and in 1907 he had a student named Yule Dougherty, and I'm proud of that because Dad was here 1907, 1908. Julian Goodman, I grew up with him. We shared a hometown. We shared a world of friends. Martin Martingale, we shared the University of Nebraska experience with him. I'm proud to have a degree from Nebraska. I thought nobody could beat their football team. I thought nobody could replace Dr. Ron Roskins. The Orange Bowl proves that you can beat the football game, and Dr. Roskins' replacement has now proved that he can carry on the prestige of that magnificent university, just like Ron Roskins did. So, Martin, I'm delighted to share this with you. Doc Meacham, everybody thinks of you as a world-class neurosurgeon. I think of you as a damn good saxophone player who ran the Red and Gray Dance Band and made me want to come down here after you left and work in the college dance band just like you did, and I did. And I worked with Billy Vaughn. I told Billy's family some things tonight they didn't know. When Billy and I were 15, we hitchhiked together to Sulphur Well, Kentucky, to the Buena Vista Hotel. We worked for a fellow over there who went belly up. He didn't want Chapter 11. He went bankrupt. And we were supposed to get $10 a month. We worked all summer. We didn't get a penny. The water system broke down, and we carried water. We played 5 jigs a day, and Billy and I had a wonderful time together, and it lasted throughout college. I told his wife something that she didn't know. Billy could not read a word of music or a note of music, and he could only play in the key of G. And the two of us worked together all one summer. Billy playing in the key of G, playing the piano, bouncing a foot on a drum, and I playing in the very difficult key of G with the trumpet. But Billy went on to prove what you can do from the key of G, and he left a great legacy and a great legend for all of us. Miss Frances Richards, and then I must stop. Kelly Thompson, who was the greatest student I ever know. He was student extraordinary when I was here. He stood at the left of Dr. Garrett. He stood at the right of Dr. Garrett. He ran everything. He put Western on the map. He was the greatest PR that any school ever had. And while Dr. Cherry and Dr. Garrett may have given it heart, Kelly made everybody know about it. He put Western on the map. Miss Frances Richards was the one that put all of us on the map. I was privileged to be able to present the 111th commencement address here at the university. D-Row asked me to come, and we had a wonderful experience. I walked in that E.A. Diddle gymnasium. There were more people in there than there were in the whole university all put together the whole 4 years I was here. But after I got through speaking, I used a little vignette about Miss Frances Richards, not knowing that she was there. And she came down and she said, "Russell, that was very nice." And I was just absolutely terrorized by this delightful young elderly lady there, beautifully coiffured and daintily dressed. And she said, "Could I have your script?" And I said, "Well, Miss Frances Richards, of course you could. If I'd known you were here, I would have cleaned it up, but here it is." And I gave her my script. 2 weeks later, I got it back in the mail, very carefully corrected in every respect, and she gave me a B-. And she put a note down there, "Good, but not great." What a woman. The most magnificent teacher that any person ever had, and I think that's a superlative that almost every person in this room that went to school with Miss Frances Richards would either agree on the superlative or would say she was as good as the best. My, what a group of people you've put me with. You've made me proud. Thank you.